and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm teacher Esther Sukwa. I'll be taking you on chemistry lessons for SS1, 2 and 3 students. We'll start with introduction to chemistry. Now, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to define chemistry. You should be able to give a brief history of chemistry. You should be able to state the branches of chemistry and also state the applications of chemistry in everyday life. Now, what is chemistry? Chemistry is a branch of science. We all know that. And it deals with the scientific study of matter. That's the composition, the structure, and the properties of matter, as well as how it changes through reactions. We all know that matter is everything around us. The air you breathe is matter. The water you drink is matter. The bed you sleep on is matter. Everything around you is matter. So for every curious attempt you make to study any of this property, either the composition, the structure, or the property of any matter around you, and you're subconsciously doing chemistry. So we all play a role in chemistry without even knowing it. From the mechanic that you pass on your way to school, or the woman that sells golden buns in your street, it's all chemistry. So chemistry is everything and everywhere around us. So you'll understand when I say chemistry is life. Now let's move to the brief history of chemistry. How did it all begin? I'm sure chemistry even started before the ancient civilizations, but at first humans discovered and utilized natural substances like metals, dyes, and perfumes to produce gold. Yes, the early scientists did alchemy, trying to use metals to produce gold. And then we got to the medieval period, the Common Era, where the concept of the four elements was introduced. And these four elements were earth, air, fire, and water. According to the ancient alchemists, those were the only four elements that actually existed, which include fire, water, air, and earth. And these are the basic elements. Every other element comes from any of these four. I move to the scientific revolution, where we have Robert Boyle as the father of chemistry, who came up with some theories, Lavoisier, who discovered oxygen, and other scientists. In the atomic era, John Dalton proposed the atomic theory, where he said that matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms, all matter. So he proposed the atomic theory. And then we have the periodic table era, where Mendeleev proposed the periodic table, which we still use in our study of chemistry today. Then we have the physical chemistry, the quantum mechanics era, and the modern chemistry, which is still in existence rather. And the other breakthroughs in chemistry, where we have fields like nanotechnology, biotechnology, and others. Alright, now we move over to the branches of chemistry. Now take a good look at this image and tell me what you see. You see a plant. On the body, you see something that looks like a benzene structure. You see microscope. You see fire burning in a glass. Now that's trying to tell you all the branches that chemistry involve. The plant you see is trying to represent organic chemistry. The microscope and the fire and the flask containing the colored liquid is trying to represent physical chemistry. The structure you see being drawn that looks like a hexagon, it's actually a benzene structure, is trying to talk about organic chemistry. Now let's explain further. Now the three main branches of chemistry are physical chemistry, organic chemistry, and inorganic chemistry. So physical chemistry applies physics to the study of chemistry rather. It applies quantum mechanics, thermodynamics, and the rest. It tries to study the structure and the physical properties of a substance. and that's physical chemistry, when you try to study the structure and the physical properties of a substance. In chemistry, you see we study things like the temperature, the pressure, how catalysts affect rates of reaction. All of this falls under physical chemistry. Now move over to organic chemistry. Now this is the study of the chemistry of life. When you hear organic, it has to do with life, plants and animals mostly. It is the chemistry of the carbon compounds, carbon and hydrogen primarily. Now the sub-branches of organic chemistry includes medical chemistry, organic and organometallic chemistry, polymer chemistry, etc., etc. We also have inorganic chemistry. Now this one studies the behavior of inorganic compounds like metals, minerals, ceramics, most elements in the periodic table. So if I'm trying to study why hydrogen behaves the way it behaves, that's inorganic chemistry. Or why oxygen does what it does, that's inorganic chemistry. So inorganic chemistry involves the study of the elements, their behavior, their structure, their property. That's inorganic chemistry. Now I've come to the end of the lesson. If you have any question, drop a comment and I will be sure to give you a reply. I hope you had a nice time. Drop your questions and any difficulty you may be facing. Subscribe to my channel to get more of these lessons. Bye. See you later.